What's up, guys? Good morning. Holy cow. Good morning. Happy opening day. This bangs for you. It is Friday. Narrative Friday for NBA. Those who celebrate that. But it's also April 8th, 2022. And man, what could get me out of bed this early in the morning? Much less out of bed, but more so live on the airwaves. Well, that would be some Yankees baseball. I've been looking forward to this season for quite some time. I'm not a hater like many of the Yankee Twitter fans. So good morning, you guys. Shout out to everybody that will drop by live. If you aren't watching this live, hey, that's cool too. Just do me a favor, hit that thumbs up and turn some notifications on and subscribe if you're not subscribed, and that way you will get notified when we go live. We do a whole lot of live content here, and I'm not quite sure what today's schedule is. Bear with me on that, but I do know there's some decent pitching on the early slate. The Yankees were playing. I had to be up anyway to watch it. Might as well grind it. Hopefully make some money on that. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to Conscious, me and more. Paul Whitlock, Neville. Sleep when we die. Yeah. Neville says, I got smashed on the MLB props last night. I warned you guys, props for baseball is such a high variance sport. You got to have thick skin. You got to be numb to the variance and know some days you're hot, some days you're not early on, especially for strikeout props. I said it on the stream yesterday. People were way too high and confident on some of the strikeout props out there because you just don't know how many pitches a pitcher will go, if they're ramped up, if they found their velo, and stuff like that. And we saw that with a couple pitchers yesterday, and we saw a couple surprises with strikeouts and pitchers yesterday. Saw some very poor umpiring. So it's all in the blender for what you gotta look out for. But it is cooler temps generally going to result in lower scoring games, and there wasn't a lot of laughers yesterday, a lot of bullpen glory, bullpen shenanigans, and I think that's what made or broke the slate yesterday. Cardinals got hot off the pen. We saw the Astros get hot off the pen. We saw Seth Beer homer off the pen, so another added layer of variance to the daily grind. So hopefully you guys are learning. Go light in the first couple days if you're new to the sport, learning the sport. Today looks like another cool day of baseball game. So hey, we're all playing from the same deck of cards, but the process is generally different early in the season, especially on slates that you don't really see a whole lot of laughers. And by laughers, I mean you're going to get games going forward later on in the season where teams drop 10-plus runs, 4 or 5 homers a game. Then it gets crazy. But this early on, first day, second day for teams, they're going to have their best pitchers ready to go. Temperatures are going to be cooler. Hitters got to find their groove. So taper your expectations. What up, Abel? What up, Gilbert? Greg? At what point do we just start playing players with the best names? Hey, man, there's a process for everything. Every process has its day, right? What up, Jordan? Even more so with the shortened spring. Yeah, shortened spring. And like yesterday, Shane Bieber, he had like one outing in front of like the Dodgers spring training team. The rest was ramping up in the backfield or pitching against his team's minor league team, stuff like that. So you don't truly know where guys are at. And then we're also seeing a lot of pitchers finding velocity. I can't tell you how many pitchers I've seen pick up 4 miles an hour. So I don't know where that's coming from. Maybe it's the dead ball becoming universal. I don't know. What up, Sean? One of the best. Hey, man, I appreciate that. What up, Prototype? You guys doing all right? Good morning, man. I see, this is more normal. The 30, 40 viewers, laid back, Cadillac Jack. I'm going to put a little lo-fi on in the background. You guys let me know if it's too low, too loud, whatever. And we're going to do a little bit of research. So, I have an idea of what's going on this slate, but generally, I just woke up catching lineups. So I'm going to do some live research. If you guys got some notes already, you want to share it with the class, feel free to do so. If you want to keep the conversation going, we have a free Discord. Link to that is in the description below. And if you want in the premium Discord, where once the dust settles and the NBA starts going away and these schedules start normalizing, I'll be in the live voice chat way more often to talk baseball. Today, the baseball live chat for the main slate is going to have to coincide with the NBA one. It is what it is. Every year we go through it, but only got about a month left of basketball, but really a couple of weeks. After, a couple rounds in the playoffs, we probably won't be that interested. So what we're going to do a couple things. First of all, I'm going to open the RunDFS.com MLB VIP spreadsheet. If you guys don't know, this is my baby, man. I coded this thing. It is 6-7 years of just constant development, thinking ideas, thinking of how to model certain things. And I'm going to try and catch up all the lineups that we do have. I have most of them already inputted from what was released. We did get a Yankees lineup. I still don't see a Red Sox lineup. We did get White Sox and Tiger lineups. So let's put those in the spreadsheet. We got AJ Pollock, Luis Robert, Jose Abreu, Yasmani Grandal, Eloy Jimenez, Lori Garcia, Josh Harrison, Andrew Vaughn, and Jake Berger. Add him to the cool name list, right? I wonder if it's Jacob Berger to pick up stats. It is not. So he must not have enough to qualify. Tigers, we're going to lead off with Robbie Grossman. I thought Akil Badu would have that role here, but not today. Satan, Austin Meadows, recently acquired Javi Baez. Man, there's a new look Tigers team. Jamer Candelario, batting cleanup. Miggy in the 5 spot. Jonathan Scope, if we can spell it correctly. Akil Badu in the 7 spot. Watch Akil Badu start lead off against a lefty coming up, and then Tucker Barnhart. So this is a very new look Tigers team. So we'll punch that in there. And anything else? We got an athletics lineup, so let's get that going in the spreadsheet. They're going to lead off with Tony Kemp, Billy McKinney, former Yankee great Billy McKinney. He then ended up in Toronto for a little bit. Looks like now he's up in Oakland. Or over in Oakland. Chatty Pendergrass, Seth Brown, Elvis Andrews, Kevin Smith, Stephen Piscotty, and Christian Pache. Where Piscotty was on the Cardinals, right? Maybe I think it's the Cardinals. All right, so that's what we got here. All right, so Quincy, hey Quincy, appreciate that follow. Next thing we want to do before we start talking game by game is I want to get caught up on the weather report. So I'm going to use RotoGrinders Kevin Ross report. This is a free thing, a free page you guys probably should be tabbing and referencing every day. He's a legit weatherman. He's a meteorologist, so he's not just some guy looking at forecast on Google, right? He says Boston at New York, winds out to left center 10 miles an hour. Chilly, all right. Yellow-orange on White Sox and Tigers. Says looks like the Royals game yesterday. Cold and wet with scattered showers. They certainly can play. The rain likely never gets heavy enough to stop them, but temps in the 40s and rain is no fun for fans and players alike. If they show they have intentions of playing, I'll likely lower the risk some. So I guess it's going to be Detroit's discretion whether or not they get it in. So let's copy this and let's put yellow on our Detroit up here. That way you guys know to keep an eye on that. Then we got Milwaukee at Chicago. Orange-yellow, heightened risk there. Lake effect, rain, and snow. Oh, my. Temps in the 30s. Whew. Just miserable stuff. Wouldn't be fully surprised if they postpone this early. But if they show signs of wanting to play, I'll lower risk as the precipitation is never too heavy. Winds in from left at 10 miles an hour. Poor hitting weather. All right, so then let's adjust that to also reflect. Let's put that orange. He had that orange, so let's do that. What else we got? Seattle, Minnesota. Temps around 40 degrees up there in Minnesota. Winds out to right at 15 to 20. Ooh. And then the Mets, the Nats. You guys watched that game yesterday? Juan Soto going deep off of Trevor May, Fortnite legend. Says, I think the likely outcome here is a dry game that we'll see a few healthy showers pop tonight. If one meanders over the ballpark, could cause a delay. So that seems pretty clean. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave the first half green and the second half yellow, right? And that means we have all of our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do have the late games in this sheet here. That Orioles game is not on this. I got the, you know what? I got the wrong. I need to make sure I didn't reserve late before I reserved early. I'm pretty sure I did not. Going, you know Andrew, OG MLB fan. Andrew. I might know, and I probably know a couple of Andrews. I don't know specifically which one you're referencing. Maybe a last name would help out, or a nickname or something like that. Big Daddy J, 4x my little MLB buy-in last night. Don't know what the F I'm doing. I'm learning from you, Gun. When you teach, I get it. Man, I appreciate that. I'm glad you're able to pick it up, because baseball definitely is tricky and hard to understand. All I can say is be really open to ranges of outcomes, high variance, and stuff not always going in the most probable way. It's like a game of poker. We're playing with numbers. So the Baltimore game is on the slate. Okay, so the Mets game is not. Okay. So we went over the Mets really for no reason, but that's good to know. Look at Aaron. Yo, Aaron in the chat, dude, I tried to DM you on Twitter, bro. It's a weird story, but it's like a weird YouTube guilty pleasure of mine is I like to watch vloggers who DoorDash, and I swear there's a vlogger that I watched that delivered to you. Like, I swear I heard your voice, bro. Like, I swear it was you, because you have a pretty distinct voice. So get with me, dog. I swear this happened, and I just need to know. Like, it's so random. Missed out on beers yesterday. Hey, Greg, that was a bullpen thing, man. That was a bullpen thing. You can't really predict that. God, I love you. Whoa, easy, big fella. My girlfriend's here. As a Phillies fan, I'm sad they're all too expensive to roster. I wouldn't worry about price too much. I guess today it is a pay up at pitching day, but it's all good, right? Calling off for Friday is never a good look. That's okay. Yeah, my girl sounds sick. Poor girlfriend. Baseball is. We don't have DoorDash from here. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I gotta show you that video anyway. I swear it was you, bro. Maybe. Do you have maybe Uber Eats? I don't know, man. I don't know. I swear it sounded like you. I was certain it was you. Baseball is very different, but I'm locked into the early slate for today. Have a late slate single entry as well, but I'm nervous about it. Hey, yeah. And you know what I would say about embracing the variance in baseball is, what other sport can you bink tournaments with zeros in your lineup? And not just one. You can get away with a couple, depending on the slate. So, it's not like you're dead and stinking like another sport if a player busts. So there's pluses and minuses to it, but I like to embrace the variance and go from there. We did get a Red Sox lineup, so that's timely. They're going to lead off. Kike Hernandez, Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez, Alex Verdugo, Trevor Story, Bobby Dalbec, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Christian Vasquez. So let's talk about this game. Garrett Cole taking on Nate Eovaldi. The implied total for the Red Sox is 3.5, Yankees 4.6. So just an 8-run total. Temps are pushing 60 degrees here. Opening day vibes. We definitely have seen Garrett Cole and Nate Eovaldi face these two teams plenty of times. Eovaldi tends to start strong, and then his velo maybe tapers off later on in the game. Curious to see where he would be at today on pitch count. But like I said yesterday, for anyone that I don't have a definitive number on, I'm just going to project 80 pitches and go from there. But these high velo guys that like Eovaldi that rely on, touching 100 miles an hour, I do wonder if they are fully ramped up or if they take a little bit longer. Do we have... Let's see, he went 4 innings in Wednesday spring training against Minnesota. All right. So I guess for now I'm just going to sit on 80 pitches, 5 innings for him. And the same with Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole, well, one interesting note about Garrett Cole is in front of StatCast cameras during spring training, his RPMs was going back to peak Garrett Cole levels. And a lot of experts are attributing that to the newly adopted rosin that Garrett Cole actually had. He was on the council for I guess talking about a solution to the post-Spider Tack world. So look out for Garrett Cole's spin rate going forward. With that said, these are two very high upside offenses. Yankees are certainly a team that also have some strikeout potential against righties. Judge in the last 2 years, almost a 30% K rate. Stanton, a 28%. Gallo, 33%. Aaron Hicks and Higashioka, 1-4 to 1-5 strikeouts per at bat. So I definitely think that ultimately when I start creating player pool, I'm gonna have really every sides of the coin. I'm gonna have Yankee stacks. I'm gonna have Garrett Cole. I'm gonna have probably some Eovaldi, because at 7,400, Eovaldi, he can live at 15, 16 fantasy points and probably still serve a purpose. On Fanduel, the 8,600, I really want to believe and trust in the ability to go 6 innings. I'm going to be a little bit more lenient to start the season on guys going to 6 innings because it's a little bit harder to predict. But on Fanduel, because of them weighing the quality start in their scoring, the win and all that, I do like to grab pitchers that can go deep into games. So would be something to look out for at his pitch count. So if you guys out there, you do have a lean on what he might get to as a pitch count, certainly let me know. But right now I'm going to put him about 5 innings for now. So yeah, I think both offenses are definitely in play. Garrett Cole, when the Spider Tack was done, he continued his trend of allowing some power to lefties. In the last 3 seasons, he has sustained over a 1.3 home run per 9 to lefties. I think the guy to watch out for in this lineup would be Rafael Devers. He has a 965 OPS in the last 2 years against righties, a 300 ISO. So those are big numbers, and he bats over 300. So he's a pretty hard out, and I definitely think he would be a guy that I would look out for Garrett Cole to lose one. Cole, fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. Devers, plus rating against that slider, plus rating against that curveball and changeup, and a plus rating against the fastball, though it's not crazy. So if he can battle off those fastballs and catch one of Cole's secondary pitches, he does grade out well against those secondary pitches. So definitely, if I had to just lean on one or two Red Sox, Devers would be at the top there for me. And then Alex Verdugo is probably another guy that can profile well as a problem against Garrett Cole. A lot of high average, a lot of low Ks in the top half of this lineup. Now, they did install some new high K guys. Trevor Story, as hyped up as he was in the offseason, still a big K guy, and I still have some reservations on what to expect from him going forward in a lot of non-cores games. But he can strike out over 1-4 at-bats. Bobby Dalbec, high strikeout rate. Jackie Bradley Jr. has been striking out at a high clip. So even if you do roster Cole and he doesn't get you a K through the first 5 batters, there's a strong lane here for him to play catch up. And then Cole, just being Garrett Cole, probably pretty ramped up, juiced up to get into this game and be sharp. So I am betting on talent and maybe a little bit of bias when I get to Garrett Cole, but I do think if Garrett Cole lives up to the Spider Tech version of Garrett Cole and this new rosin and can sustain that RPM. You guys remember he was the most dominant pitcher on the planet for a whole season. It wasn't that long ago, and it might have been sticky stuff induced, but hey, we got sticky stuff back. I'll take some bets on his talent here, but absolutely a loaded offense on the Red Sox side, so I will have some there. And like I said, Eovaldi. So this is where Scumdacker comes into play. I'm going to play all sides of this. What are you guys thinking? Paul says them rookies debuted well last night. Yeah, Bobby Witt got him a game-winning ribeye steak. You like that? Baseball is very different, but I'm locked into the early slate for today. I have a late slate single entry. Let's go. All right, Chris. We don't have a DoorDash. Oh, I read that. Thoughts on paying down to steal on Fanduel and pay up for bats? Andrew, usually I will never be an advocate of paying down at pitcher. because there's usually always at least one or two, three solid pitchers at the top. And today especially, there's a high floor at the top. So I don't think that would be something I would really get behind, because like I said, the high variance of baseball, just point blank, is enough to want to grab the floors from the most predictive or the highest predictive value in fantasy points, which is from our pitcher spot. So we'll talk about Justin Steele in just a bit and do a little research on him. But right now, I'm probably taking the floor from some of these high end pitchers. Langston says, for example, last season someone won a huge tournament when a pitcher in the negative. Does happen. Yeah, it does happen. Eovaldi's a wild card. Yeah, Eovaldi definitely. And I think Eovaldi might be pretty clean, even if he does go 4 innings. It's just how long can Eovaldi go? Because like I said, it usually starts out really, really strong, and I could see him going through the order pretty clean, especially the first inning or two, and then we'll see how much gas he has in the tank as a velocity-dependent pitcher to last through that fourth, fifth, those middle innings. And if you can dip into the bullpen a little bit faster, that's where I think the fun can begin here. So I'm in agreement. Eovaldi, wild card pitcher, but I'm looking for the second time through the order to see where he's at. Right. Devers was swinging a hot back. Let's go. Yeah, Devers is really doggone good. He's really expensive today. And, I can't imagine a 6K bat against Garrett Cole is going to pick up a lot of ownership. But a homer's a homer, right? Value is extremely subjective. So if he does send one over the short porch, very possible. I don't mind looking his way. He probably has one or two off of Cole anyway. 6.5 too high for a strikeout prop. For who? Garrett Cole? So I'll tell you what, let's look at the strikeout projections. If we go to the K Factory, for Garrett Cole, I'm going to give him 80 pitches. Maybe we can stretch to 90. At 80 pitches, I got a 6.9 strikeout return here. So if 6.5 is the number, it's slightly on the over. If we get to 90, I do like that a little bit more. But like I said, the strikeouts in this Red Sox lineup, it's going to be that lane at the bottom. The story, the Dalbec, the Jackie Bradley Jr.'s, and maybe he can catch J.D. slipping. And maybe Kike. I don't know. He does. 30% K rate overall. He's a bad man. So I definitely think his talent can get there. It's just a matter of pitch count. So I don't want to get behind, pushing strikeout props too early because I don't have a strong definitive number on pitch count. But maybe more as pregame press conferences and stuff like that happen. Maybe we'll have some more definitive numbers. Like yesterday, after I got off the air, I got a Shane Bieber number. It was at 70 pitches, so I had to walk backwards, and then I would, it was off of all of his props. So looking out for that. And I'm just looking through the blurb here. Say Cole touched 99 on his fastball and got 5 of 6 outs via strikeout. He looked pretty doggone good in spring. So yeah, both sides. Thoughts on Rodriguez when you get to Detroit, Gun? I know he's taking on Chicago, but I really don't want to play Steele. Don't play Steele. White Sox at the Tigers, next game on the docket. So just a reminder that Kevin Roth had this game yellow-orange. Probably going to rain the whole time and be really cold. And it seems like if this game was in like August or July, it wouldn't get postponed, but it's the rain combined with the 40-degree weather that you wonder if it's just going to be cold and yucky enough that they postpone. So we will research it as if it doesn't, but if it does play, we're at best playing with some rainy baseball elements. Very poor hitting environment, although we kind of had a similar thing for the Tigers last year. Remember, opening day snowed and Miggy homered, barely skipped a wall. So sometimes being too fearful of bad weather can get us in trouble. But Giolito taking on Erod. Giolito last year had a 3.72 overall Sierra, a 3.5 ERA, a 3.29 expected ERA, with a 28% K rate and a 15% swing and strike rate. Absolutely incredible level pitching. 8,400 on DK, certainly an attackable, attainable price point. 10K on Fanduel. Again, I want to know that 6 innings, quality start, all that is a likely outcome, or at least a possible outcome. And right now I got everyone at 80 to 85 pitches. And against this Tigers lineup, I think it is. But we do have to maybe explore giving the Tigers a little bit more respect this year because of some of the changes they made. But with that said, adding in a guy like Javi Baez, while he does have a 200-plus ISO, he also brings a high strikeout rate. Austin Meadows can strike out 1 in 5, but they did load this lineup up with a couple switchies. So a lot of guys batting from the left side of the plate. Not necessarily a problem for Giolito. He did have a 29% K rate to lefties last year, which is almost a point higher than his K rate to righties. And Giolito's home run problem last year was against righties. He had a 24% line drive rate to righties, a 25.5% line drive rate to lefties. Did let the ball go up in the air, but with this cold, dense air, rainy air, I'm not going to project him to get lit up here. So if the game's going to play, I think 8,400 Giolito on an efficiency site, certainly something that's in play here. If they do call it, then we'll likely have that information with plenty of time to adjust because it is 5 minutes after lock. Erod on the other side here for the Tigers. You guys know Erod, from his Red Sox days, extremely boom or bust at times. Did allow a high average to righties last year, 277 average, but a 365 xFIP. His underlying metrics were fine. Even got his overall walk rate down a little bit, but his whip has been his problem as long as I can remember, and he just tends to fall and unravel in the middle of a game. It could be pitching 3-4 really strong innings, and next you know, he just loses the zone and has to get yoinked here. And this is a really tough spot going against this White Sox team that is absolutely loaded, and a lot of people have them projected to maybe go all the way out of the American League, and I wouldn't really push back too much. I think they have, and last year I thought they would be a strong title contender. A.J. Pollock was traded to the White Sox a couple weeks ago. I mean, just historically, he's been a guy I love to roster against lefties. Getting him in this leadoff spot is just a great opportunity. Lewis Robert, just a massive, talented guy. He does give you some stolen base potential as well. Abreu always slapping lefties around. I mean, look at the batting averages against lefties last 2 years for the bulk of this team. It's dang near averaging 300. The K rates are low. So I'm going to say, with all this in mind, Erod is not looking pretty good to me. The pushback being it is probably a plus for pitchers with this hitting environment, but man, this team, if you just neutralize the ballpark factors and the weather factors, this would absolutely be a top stack for me. Run wise, they're only projected for 4.1 runs, but I think that could be more weather induced than not. Erod last year against righties, a 44% ground ball rate, 34% fly ball rate, and just a 25% hard contact rate. Keep the ball on the ground, not going to let you hit it hard. So there's a recipe for getting through games here and maybe lasting a little bit longer. But, man, I think if you're a multi-entry guy, how do you not get to some White Sox stacks here? They just profile really, really well here against Erod. So I'll definitely take my chances. We go check out the pitch report on this game, Erod against the White Sox. Fastball, cutter, changeup were his top 3 pitches last year. And none of those pitches really had an insane grade, but hey, they got him through. All right, very low hard contact numbers, and was pretty efficient. He doesn't bring a lot of velocity, just 92 on his fastball, 88 on that cutter, 85 on that changeup. Thinking about who would really like to roster on the White Sox against a lefty in general, would probably be A.J. Pollock, Lewis Robert as 2 of the main guys. Pollock grades really well against fastballs, not so much against the secondary pitches. Robert has a plus grade against all but the cutter, so something to keep an eye on. But I just think I'm going to have to stack White Sox by default. There's probably not going to be a slate this season if this White Sox lineup is up against a lefty, any lefty, I don't care who it is, probably going to stack them. I mean, they just look that talented. But I'm willing to concede that weather could spoil me today, but I just got to try and be numb to many of those factors, not overthinking, just play range of outcomes. I think I'm just going to run 50 lineups on this slate and hope for the best. There wasn't like great prize pools, Devers has 3 homers off Cole. That's good to know. He's definitely, I mean, just matchup wise, he's definitely the guy I'd be worried about the most for Garrett Cole to get out. Are you on the Rays today? Greg, I haven't got to that game yet, but scrolling down a little bit just to foreshadow. Against John Means, yeah, I'll be on the Rays today. But I do want to let you guys know I do multi-enter, so most of these teams I'll have exposure to because baseball is like that. But Whites, if you had to limit me to like 5 stacks right now, White Sox would be one of them, just because I just like this lineup against lefties. Pollock is already hurt too. I can see him getting yanked there if they're bad. Yeah, I thought it was weird they was leading off, so I don't think that's crazy to project a switch. But I also know Eloy Jimenez is hurt. He's on the IL, so I'm not sure who would be the alternative here for AJ. But definitely possible for him to not play to get 4 at bats. Even Josh Harrison down here, just sneaky. Really good Fanduel value in that bottom of the lineup. I mean, there's just so many ways to stack the White Sox if you can get past uncomfortable weather, you know. I picked Luis Robert for AL MVP this year, Nolan Arenado for NL MVP. Yeah, obviously I think Soto gets it, but as far as value, anything that's not Soto probably comes with some value. Can you hit up your favorite prize picks at the end? I'll take a look at it, Skimmer. I don't mind for sure. How much Higashioka will you have? I like his price on DK. So far, catcher's not. I guess Grandal looks like he's going to be my favorite catcher if I can get there. Higgy's just going to fall in Yankee stacks. Higgy looked really good in spring training. Spring training has been known to be really irrelevant, though. A lot of guys lead spring training in homers and then go on slumps and vice versa. So I just think Higgy will fall in stacks. Very rare that I'll have like priority catchers. Yesterday I did like Austin Nola leading off. Didn't mind Dalton Varsho as a catcher eligible leadoff guy. But right now I think Higgy would just fall in stacks where he falls. You know, in a Hicks and IKF sandwich. So wouldn't be a priority though. But if he fell, he's probably going to only fall in Yankee stacks. I'm terrible at timing my questions. No, you're fine, Greg. What matchup are you feeling the most out of this early slate? So far, I do like the White Sox stack, but it is subject to weather. Speaking of subject to weather, Brewers at the Cubs. We got Brandon Woodruff taking on Justin Steele. So a couple questions about Justin Steele. Just to remind you guys, if you missed the beginning of the stream, according to Kevin Roth, meteorologist, weather expert, he did have this game as a postponement risk. He said temps in the 30s, miserable stuff. Wouldn't be fully surprised if they postponed early, but if they show signs of wanting to play, I'll lower the risk as the rain is never too heavy, winds in from left. So, freezing rain sitting around all day is probably not a lot of fun, and don't know if they want their fans sitting in that. So if you are going to play some Steele or Woodruff this far out, just know you'll lose access to the alternatives if they sit around on a postponement call, right? If you wanted to, Woodruff for me would be the more clickable name here if I wanted to get to this game. And if you lost Woodruff and it was after the slate locked, you would then lose 3 really solid pivots, which would be Cole, Giolito, and Eovaldi. So you are taking a little bit of risk as of now. With that said, we don't have any lineups out for this game, and we do have lineups out for 3 of the other games around this, including a game that starts an hour after this game. So makes you wonder, right? They played yesterday, but on the bump today, Woodruff versus Steele. Woodruff is one of the better pitchers in all of baseball. This Cubs team, not that good. Bunch of strikeouts sprinkled into this lineup. Wilson Contreras, Ian Happ, Patrick Wisdom, all can strike out 1 and 4 or better. And then a couple of these other guys you need to keep an eye on. Still looking for Suzuki to get on the board here. Looks like DraftKings did get smartened up to who Suzuki is, put him at 5K. Fanduel has not. And while this may not play favorable today because of the tough matchup, keep Suzuki on your radar. I read an article on Fangraphs to just trying to learn about him. His stuff overseas I mean, he had better numbers than Ohtani. And now it doesn't always translate 1-to-1 coming into majors because you see a lot stronger pitching. But Ohtani's numbers were very similar to Suzuki, and Suzuki beat him in like OPS and slugging, ISO, stuff like that. So he could be a really, really big name in a couple of months to target for DFS. And if we're gonna get an access to him at 2,200, him, Bobby Witt Jr., guys like that, prospects and guys with a lot of upside, just keep those guys in your notes. Like I said, Woodruff's one of the better pitchers on the planet when he's healthy. So today may not be the day, but 2,200 is too cheap for Suzuki's potential. So on the next slate or the next series where they may face some inferior pitching to Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff, Suzuki might be somebody to keep in mind if Fanduel's going to keep him at this price point. Woodruff really doesn't have any holes here, and it's going to be very, very cold, not very hitter-friendly. So if the game did play, I'd get to some Woodruff for sure. Justin Steele on the other side does not profile well against righties. I will say this Brewers lineup that I have right now in this projected sheet, Adames, Christian Yelich, Hunter Renfroe, Keston Hiura, Mike Brosseau, Victor Caratini, they all carry big strikeout rates, and these strikeout rates actually allowed a huge game for strikeout-wise for Kyle Hendricks yesterday. Wasn't on my radar, especially for strikeouts. So maybe Justin Steele could donk into some of those extra implied strikeouts, but Steele's been extremely extremely split heavy in terms of talent and success rate. And against lefties, 18% walk rate. Against righties, 4.78 xFIP, 208 home run per nine. If we get access and clearance to this game, I'd probably have to pick on this much opposite of the thought of playing him. So I know a couple of you guys have asked about the merits in punting Justin Steele here. I just don't see the reason for being, as he might just put up hitter numbers if you're lucky, and he might put up negatives if you're unlucky. But if Brewers surprises with their lineup and put in a bunch of lefties, maybe. But the only lefty that I have with that we can maybe tap into the strikeout rate is Yelich. Even Colton Wong, if he let off, had a sub 14% K rate against lefties. So something to keep an eye on, but I would not have interest in Justin Steele really no matter what. Looks like we did get a Minnesota lineup, so that's good news. Cubs have a day game tomorrow. It'll be about 45-50 with no rain up there tomorrow. Okay. Woodruff owns the Cubs. Yeah, Woodruff's just a really good pitcher. I won with Suzuki fantasy points on PrizePicks last night. Yeah, hey, that's a good point, Paul. PrizePicks may not catch up to some of these young bloods, the Bobby Witts, the Suzukis, guys like that. So maybe if they keep the lines low, we'll keep attacking it and come out on top, you know. So keep an eye on this game. No confirmed lineup, so I can't go too in-depth here. Next on the docket, Athletics against the Phillies. And the Phillies look like a team, you know, kind of like last year, but they look even more so like a team this year that I'm just going to stack by default every slate no matter what, even though I got love and respect for Frankie Montas. Now, we did have that confirmed Athletics lineup, and now we have a confirmed Phillies lineup. It's going to be Kyle Schwarber leading off. You guys know Kyle Schwarber leading off last year was a problem in Washington. JT Realmuto's two-hole catcher, so he's probably going to project as the best catcher on the slate just based on talent and hitting position. Bryce Harper in a 3-spot. Nick Castellanos. You got to make sure I don't get struck by lightning when I say that name. Rhys Hoskins, Didi Gregorius, Gene Segura, Bryson Stott, and Matt Verling. So, confirmed lineups here. Montas had 2 halves last year. He was really dominant to start last season and then got suspended for PEDs and came back. So, we're going to go check out his game log from last season when he came back. And then I guess it's worth checking out Frankie Montas' spring training stats to kind of see if he was looking a little bit more like beefed up Frankie, right? Guys, how's the music? Is the music at a good level? Should it be a little louder, a little lower? I don't hear it in my headset, but I know sometimes the consumer side, audio-wise, can be different than what I'm hearing. Montes no-hitter incoming. Cool. We got an A's fan in the chat? Or just a Philly hater? I don't know, man. So in spring training this year, we got 5.2 innings, 10 hits allowed, a bomb, and 4 strikeouts. So less than a strikeout per inning, a 2 whip. Now, I don't overreact to spring training. A lot of it is getting your form back, getting your velo back, getting your arms stretched out. But certainly not what you want. But like I said, you look at last year's spring training, not good either. And, he started the season on fire. So we take everything with a grain of salt. And then looking at the second half of last year, let's just do splits from last year. And then can we let's do monthly splits. How about that? Can we split it in half? I feel like, second half right here. Second half, he had a 10.5 K per 9, a 3 walk per 9, not what you want, 0.62 home run per 9, 30% K rate. And then let's go to game log and double check his pitch types and stuff. When he came back, he was throwing 96, which is consistent with what he was throwing to start the season. Looked like to start the season he had a little bit more velo, and that might just been, a rested arm. Slider was at 89, not too different than the first half of the season. Split finger, 86. So that's all in line. The pitch value for all these pitches look fine. So it doesn't look like he was much different first half to second half. And then overall swing and strike rate, just about every game, double digits, 12% or better. So I'm willing to forgive the spring training stats a little bit. But like I said, just for if you like fun, this Phillies lineup looks like fun. Schwarber, 304 ISO against righties the last 2 years. Bryce Harper, I think he led spring training in homers, 290 plus ISO. He always loves opening day. Castellanos just an incredible guy to put behind Harper. So even if Harper doesn't drop it or shoot it over the wall, little ribeye potential if Harper lives up to his on-base percentage. And Harper is definitely a guy that can draw some walks. And then the bottom half of the lineup does fizzle out a little bit. Reese Hoskins has some pop, but he also has ability to strike out, not hit for a great average. Barrel rate really bad last year for Didi Gregorius. So I do think that the top half, the 1 through 4, maybe the 1 through 5 of this Phillies lineup are going to make my rounds. And then the bottom half, if they fall in some 5-man stacks, then cool. But the priority's at the top here. And with that said, Frankie Montas at 7,800, darned if you do, darned if you don't. His problem 2 years ago was lefties. Last year, he still allowed an elevated average to lefties, but for the most part, the strikeout rate was increased and the home run per 9 was decreased. Hard contact rate was at a career low. Do we put some stock into Oakland Coliseum, into Citizens Bank? Maybe. Let's go check out on the road against lefties last year. On the road again. 206 average, 388 slugging. So, it was a little bit higher naturally. 301 WOBA. So, I guess there's a couple ways this play out. Who is Frankie Montas? Is last year's Frankie Montas the version we should expect this season? Was it a career best season? Schwarber and Harper are just beasts to begin with. So I'm probably gonna have more Phillies than Montas today. But there's so many good options at pitcher today that do I get to some Montas at 7,800? Probably 14, 15 fantasy points. I'll take it. And then Aaron Nola, 9K on DK, 10.3 on Fanduel. He also had a couple of blemishes in spring training, but he also showed some upside here. So let's report back on that. So Aaron Nola spring training. I typed in Aaron and it suggested Aaron Judge, so that could be a problem. A little louder? You want it a little louder? Just a little louder? That's cool. How's that? A little louder. Assuming weather holds, yeah. Phillies 12-2 score today. Maybe. Tigers and White Sox have bad blood. They hit Abreu last year and bench is cleared. That happens. That happens. The same thing happened with, remember Miguel Cabrera got into a wrestling match with Austin Romine when Romine was on the Yankees. Then they were teammates last year. It's baseball. I don't think they're going to come out on opening day throwing at each other. But who knows? Maybe. Spring training for Nola, 14.1 innings, through 211 pitches. 208 average allowed, 0.84 whip. Ground out to air out ratio was really, really good. 20 strikeouts in those 14 innings. So, did allow 6 homers. That's not what you want. But the K stuff was there. What happens if you click on this? Does it actually tell you? Or am I about to get kicked off of YouTube? I need to be careful. Hold on a second. I don't want to get copyrighted. My bad, guys. Hold on. Let's go play some videos. Torkelson got him. Marwin Gonzalez. Hey, Marwin going to get a lot of people this year. All right, so strikeouts were there. So that's good to know. Athletics, they're going to offer some strikeouts. This might be the most strikeout-prone lineup on the slate so far. Look at this. Billy McKinney against righties, 25% K rate the last 2 years. Sean Murphy, 25%. Chatty Pendergrass, 26%. Seth Brown, 29%. Steven Piscotty, 27%. And Christian Pache, I mean, he might as well be a pitcher at this. Look at batting under 100 with a 40% K rate. So this is probably the worst lineup on the slate, I think. Would you guys agree? 2 guys with a 200-plus ISO, but they parlay that with a sub-230 batting average and ridiculous K rate. So Aaron Nola looks like he could be that guy, and I'd be leaning more towards his strikeout success in spring training than his implosion probability. And then looking at the pitch report for Nola, expect fastball, curveball, changeup, and really no one here drives any fear for me at any of those pitches. This Kevin Smith 13.9 must have been like 1 at bat against that pitch type. So Nolan looking really good. I think in terms of matchup and just pitcher talent, Nola probably checks every box you could want. Right, I do. I mean, obviously we like Cole's upside, but it's the Red Sox. They're a talented team. But this is probably the best pitcher versus worst matchup on the slate. So definitely would be a priority. And he is implied for the win, minus 180. So we do like that. So I do like the Philly stack. I do like Aaron Nola. Don't think I definitely ain't stacking Athletics. I can't even think of what I'd want a one-off here. Let's see, a 139 home run per night to lefties last year. I'm not playing. Yeah, I'm full fading Athletics here. So give me some Nola. And that's all I got to say about that. Rays in the Orioles. We do have a Rays lineup. So we'll get that plugged in here. And we'll capitalize. Yandy Diaz. Wander Franco, Harold Ramirez, Randy Arozarena, Brandon Lau, Mike Zunino batting 6th, Josh Lowe, Manuel, Margot, Kevin Kiermaier in the 9th spot. Still waiting on an Orioles lineup. I don't think that's going to change much. Just the last game on the early slate? The Twins game didn't catch this early, huh? All right. Shane McClanahan taking on John Means. John Means last year, 4.44 xFIP to righties, 192 home run per night. He has had a home run problem really every season to righties. Is that correlated with Camden yards? Maybe. Hard contact rate wasn't like crazy. So maybe we'll do some research on John Means in Camden versus away from Camden. Overall last year on the road, 136 home run per 9 with a 3.6% walk rate, 40% fly ball, 47% fly ball rate. So it looks like that fly ball rate's getting him in trouble. So there's a couple things I want to check out for Means. One, I want to check out his home run per 9 to righties on the road. He gave up 13 bombs, 63 innings, so that's not what you want. But 211 average, a sub 400 slugging. Those numbers don't really go together. 185 homer 9 away. Yeah, okay. I guess that's what happens in the AL East. So the other number I want to look at here while we're here is his home run to fly ball rate on the road versus righties. Because these are some really inflated numbers for that hard contact rate. He had a 17% home run to fly ball rate last year with a 48% fly ball rate. That's crazy. And then on the road against righties, he had a 47% fly ball rate with a 16% home run to fly ball rate. So pretty crazy numbers there. Allows over 40% of his fly balls to get pulled. So something to watch out for. So the Rays are going to profile pretty well. What also looks interesting is last year was a career high in strikeout rate to righties. He had 11.9% overall swing and strike rate. But if you can get back to 20% or less, Mike Zunino is a problem. At last look, Zunino actually led the bomb detector in projected or in home run rating. He had a 4.38. So we're going to get to some Mike Zunino today. I like that he's batting 6th, right? Sometimes you'll find him batting 8th, 9th, bottom of the lineup. Don't really ever expect him to get as high as cleanup or anything like that, but he has one job when he steps into play. Swing hard. He's going to give you a 32% carry rate, but he also gives you insane numbers like a 300-plus ISO and a 25% barrel percentage when he makes contact. So can he make contact with John Means today? If so, it looks like he looks like a pretty solid home run opportunity. Means fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. Zunino, negative grade against the fastball, plus grade against the slider, really plus grade against the changeup. So we do like us some Mike Zunino on the bomb detector today. I don't see myself pitching John Means here. It is a pitcher-friendly park. However, on a slate like this, it just feels like we have a lot of great pitching options elsewhere. So I don't really see a reason to make John Means a priority, so I won't. Shane McClanahan, he looked really good in his was it rookie season last year. 30.6% carry rate to lefties last year, 27% carry rate to righties. Maybe a little bit unlucky with that 300 average versus that 235 xFIP. Hard contact to lefties was a little bit elevated. So I wonder if this is 120 plus innings of sample size. I'm going to say I wonder if it was sample size related. And then against righties, really solid numbers as well. So if you wanted to get to some Shane McClanahan, maybe you did want to take a shot at Woodruff and halfway through the slate you lose him. You want to swap out. Wouldn't mind a couple of shares of McClanahan. He also keeps the ball on the ground. Pretty decent clip, 43% ground ball rate. On against righties, 52% against lefties. So it's not somebody I inherently want to pick on, and definitely kept the ball in the park. Tropicana is a hard park to homer at anyway. So not much in the Orioles lineup right now that I want to get to. And I can't imagine there'd be any surprises that change that for me. If you fell into a share of Trey Mancini here and there, and Austin Hayes, sure. Cedric Mullins, if you just want exposure to a guy that can get on base, could be a hit leader again this year. But I think this is probably an offense I'm not expecting much from. They have a 3.2 implied run total. That is as low as the Cubs, so that's showing what you might expect from the Orioles today. So no Orioles for me. So I'm pretty much Xing out Athletics and Orioles in terms of teams I'm stacking, just completely. And then as far as the Rays stack, yeah, I'm on it. I definitely like the Zunino rating, but a lot of really good numbers here. Wander Franco was killing lefties last year. 356 average, 264 ISO, a 1 OPS. That's a problem. Just a 10% K rate. Yeah, that's a problem. Harold Ramirez, I'm kind of surprised that he's batting third. We'll see if he can make me regret those words. Randy Rosarena, another guy that has shown pop against lefties, a 959 OPS. Yeah, plenty to like here. Couple home run possibilities. I think if I had to rank the Rays here, Franco 1, Zunino, and probably Franco 1, Rosarena 2, and then Zunino 3. Those would be the three guys I definitely want exposure to today, you know? What do you guys think? You guys kind of agree with much I'm saying? Is there any contrarian takes that you have that might blow my mind? What up, Jason? Any prize picks action? Yeah, we can talk about some prize picks. We'll see what's on the board. What do you think? Baltimore lineup just hit. All right, cool. Let's get that plugged in while we're here. And it looks like Mullins, Mountcastle, Santander is not. Oh, Santander's betting bottom. So Mancini's betting third. I mean, I think Trey Mancini, healthy, is probably their best player. Maybe Cedric Mullins. Anthony Santander is batting fifth. Ramon Urias, Jorge Mateo, Robinson Chirinos, Kelvin Gutierrez. Yeah, this is not a lineup that I think I need exposure to. So, didn't really change my opinion, but Trey Mancini is a one-off in the 3 spot. Maybe you get max at bats. Sure, go for it. What up, EDC? Doesn't McClanahan crush versus the Orioles? So I stay away from pitcher versus team. I just kind of look at the math in front of me. But the Orioles, there's not many pitchers that don't crush the Orioles, you know? So that's definitely even more so something I don't know that I would lean on. What up, Obi-Wan? McClanahan, love that name. Sounds like a Western bandit. McClanahan's Auto Parts. Hot take. Yandy Diaz with a leadoff homer. I can see that. Any righty has a chip in a chair here. I'm ashamed to be an O's fan. They can't keep anyone good. Maybe the tank job will fix. All right, you guys want to talk about some prop bets out there? Before we do that, these prop bets we're going to talk about, we're going to be looking at the PrizePicks board. So if you guys do want to tail some of these picks, or you don't, maybe you ain't got time to make out full lineups or keep an eye on weather, and you want to get a sweat going anyway, go check out PrizePicks. If you live in Arizona, PrizePicks just launched in Arizona a couple days ago. So if you had wanted to play in the past but it wasn't offered in your state, well, now it's in your state. So go check it out. Sign up using code GUNDACKER. They'll double your first deposit up to $100. That's good. That's free money. And if you do that, they support me every month. So it's a cool way. Everybody wins. You guys get a double your deposit. I get to affiliate stuff, and they get users. So it's really a triple threat of mutual goodness. So let's talk about what's on the PrizePicks board right now. And right now I got pitcher strikeouts pulled up. I think I want to be cautious with going after strikeouts. I will say we did have Garrett Cole projected for over 6.5, depending on his pitch count. But I also just don't want to tempt fate too much against the Red Sox. But what I'll say this: if you guys are signed up with a VIP subscription at RunDFS.com, we have something called the K Factory. It's a tab down here next to the bomb detector, and I have a strikeout prediction model and a number of out projection model. And you guys can kind of do the math for yourself. So it's like long form math. You see the numbers in front of you and what the algorithm and the math equation is considering. And then I've made it to where, based on the number of pitches, this is mathematically the amount of strikeouts we might expect today. So if you had 80 pitches for Garrett Cole, the number came back 6.91. If you had 90 pitches for Garrett Cole, the number came back 7.8. And 80 and 90 pitches for outs comes out to 17 outs, 19 outs. So we could somewhat consider the outs over strikeouts. I feel like that's something that makes me a little bit more confident. Looking at what's on the board, did they not put outs today? I don't see outs listed. Yesterday they had outs listed, but I don't see it today. So I guess we can't get into some outs. The other thing that I'll say is probably the most lucrative bet that you're going to see on PrizePicks every day is going to be under on first inning runs allowed, especially some of these games with great pitchers like Eovaldi versus Garrett Cole. Just generally, you'll see a lot of low scoring in the first inning of baseball. So for them to offer this is a lot of fun, and it almost doesn't matter who's pitching. More than likely, I'd be on unders for most first innings, so I could definitely get on the under on Boston and New York. First inning, the weather's so bad in Chicago, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have a run in the first inning. Steele could get 2 lefties, his strengths, and Willy Adames in the first inning. So this is a tab that, when all else fails and you're just looking to pair something with something, I do like looking at this tab and more than likely getting on unders in the first inning just because it's just more likely to happen in baseball. Pitcher fantasy score and then hitter fantasy score. So pitcher fantasy score we talked about yesterday. They do consider quality starts, right? So this is like Fanduel. You're going to get 4 points for the quality start, 6 points for the win. So you can get 10 points implied right there. Both of those, especially the win, is extremely volatile, right? It's a hot debate because the pitcher really doesn't have a big input on his team winning. You know, he can prevent runs, but he can't score them. So this is hard to project, but would be looking to imply wins is guys that are pushing minus 200 or greater. The quality start is a little bit easier to project. Guys that have to go 6 innings. By the way, if you are brand new to baseball, quality start is a pitcher that can go 6 innings and give up 3 or less earned runs. So that's what that means. And then minus 3 for earned runs. So on opening day, I don't really know pitch counts right now to get behind fantasy points on pitchers. So I guess what I would probably say is let's stick with hitter fantasy scores for now. I'll almost never bet hits plus walk or total bases. Hitter fantasy score is a little bit easier to attack. And let's see if there's any attackable lines. So Zunino was on the top of the bomb detector. I wonder if he has a line today. They do not have a line for him. Judge is at 7.5. Let's look at the bomb detector and see if there's any other fun names at the top to attack. Judge is batting second. He's fifth. You know, the bomb detector doesn't have many fours today. Reese Hoskins, McCutchen, Joey Gallo, Mike Zunino. Intriguing, indubitably. I think I want to pick on John Means, but right now there's nothing on the board for prize picks on the Rays, right? Yeah. So I guess I would just be going after first inning unders. So I'd probably take Red Sox and the Yankees under. And then I'd probably take a shot on Cubs and Brewers under 1 run in the first inning. And that's it for now. And do they have anything for the later slate? No. It looks like this board is slowly developing. We only have a couple of earlies. I wouldn't mind looking at Schwarber for a leadoff. Yak. 7.5 fantasy points. That would accomplish that. So the board's kind of dry right now, guys. I don't want to force any answers just to get you guys something to play. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't mind. If I had to grab, I would take Harper, Schwarber over fantasy points. I'd probably take the under 1 run scored in the Red Sox Yankees first inning. And then if we start getting pitcher outs, I don't mind going after pitcher outs in a couple spots today. What do we get on Nola's strikeouts? Maybe we can bet Nola's strikeouts. Looks like we have more. 6 strikeouts. I think he gets at least 6 pushes. So let's give Nola 80 to 90 pitches in the pitch detector or in the K factory. At 80 pitches, I get 7 strikeouts. 90, I get So we'll do Nola 6 strikeouts. All right. So if we had to type that up, Aaron Nola over 6 Ks. Let's go Red Sox, Yankees under 1 run first inning. Although I hope Judge and Donaldson change that. And then I'd be looking, if I had to force it, I do think I like Schwarber, Harper fantasy points. And if they open up something for Zunino that might be low, I might take that. And then the Rays. I think I can get behind the Rays. Because also, one thing about the Rays is their bullpen probably is going to suck too. And you just get a quality 8 innings of at-bats today. But we're still waiting on pitcher outs and and just more hitters to be added to fantasy scores. So look out for that. I'm seeing McClanahan's original team. He's way too cheap on DK. He is, but the price, the individual pricing for the pitcher is also relative to the slate. I don't really overvalue or undervalue pitcher pricing. I'm more so caring about how many fantasy points they're going to give me, right? So if I'm going to get a shot at 20 fantasy points from a pitcher, I'm going to play him no matter what the price is. And then as the season goes, we'll start getting 10, 11K pitchers. So McClanahan himself is probably too cheap, but if he scores 16 and 3 other pitchers score 22, then he's irrelevant. With that said, I like McClanahan today, but I just wanted to caution you to not be over emotional about a price for a pitcher. Do you need a few games for everything, or is it good to use off the rip? The spreadsheet? The spreadsheet is a 2-year rolling sample right here on the index. It's a split induced stats on a 2-year rolling sample. And the pitchers, most of these pitchers we have a sample on. The thing with pitchers, though, they're a little bit more volatile this early because we don't know pitch counts. We don't know where everyone's velos is at. And we have seen pitchers, especially bullpen guys, change year to year. And, some guys pick up new pitches, stuff like that. But for the most part, baseball's static in numbers. This year's a little bit different because of a couple of nuances: dead balls, park adjustments, cold weather, a new rosin being adopted after half a season of no, spider tax, stuff like that. But all that's just kind of small factors. For the most part, the spreadsheet's pretty good. What do you think is going to be the most owned stack on Fanduel for the early slate? I'd probably just start with implied totals. And it'd probably be Yankees, Phillies, White Sox would be my guess. But it's just that. It's a guess. I haven't looked at ownership projections. Probably Yankees and Phillies. Gallo going yard. I'm here for that. Who we like at third base on DraftKings? Devers, if you got the stones to play 6K against Cole. As much as I'm willing to roster Cole today, Cole does have a bugaboo historically against lefties. Has carried a 1.4 plus home run per 9 to lefties for a while. And Rafael Devers is a problem. So I could see Devers hitting one over the wall. Value subjective. He's 6K. But it is going to be hard to fit that in there comfortably. So I think Devers is fun to get to. I like DJ LeMahieu being multi-position eligible. Middle of the lineup, he might get one of the first shots at the bullpen. As we scroll down a little bit, no one's really screaming at me for a pay down option. Yeah, I'm not seeing it down. So I guess if I had to rank it, Devers looks most likely to hit a bomb. Donaldson leading off is fun. Donaldson, so as much slack as the Donaldson pickup got, his advanced metrics were nice last year. It was just a matter of staying healthy. Show you guys what I'm talking about. First of all, season stats altogether for batted ball data. Last year, he had a 40% hard contact. So anything 40 and above is really, really solid. He had a 48% pull rate, so you can, really get a lot of power out of those swings and that hard contact. 40% fly ball rate. Could be better, could be worse. I like that. And then 17% line drive rate. So the hard contact, all those underlying metrics were really, really solid. And we saw him hit 13 homers off of righties last year. 21 doubles. I mean, he was a really great hit for ISO guy against lefties, against righties last year. It was just a matter of staying healthy. So now you put those numbers, one leading off, so you get the ability to sit on the first pitch fastball, stuff like that. And two, you got Aaron Judge on deck as your protection. I think Donaldson could could surprise some people this year. With that said, Eovaldi is a really talented pitcher. In general, Donaldson's going to be somebody that I probably roster quite a bit at third base on DK this season. Yandy Diaz looks good. But yeah, there's not one clear option for me at third base. And the guys that I do like are pay-up options, How you feeling about a White Sox stack for the morning slate? EDC, I definitely like the thought of the White Sox stack. Just keep an eye on the game. Roth says that it is cold enough and rainy and like nasty, not borderline freezing rain, to where you could see Detroit calling it as a convenience decision for their fans. But otherwise, I do like that White Sox team against lefties. The hitting environment's terrible today, but the talent is there, and we've definitely seen some games produce runs even in poor hitting environments and freezing temps. Who are the two best pitchers in the early slate? What a butthole. I think Aaron Nola might be pound for pound my favorite. Just matchup considered. And, I don't know, man. I like the thought of Garrett Cole. Let's see. But for me, I want to act on Cole looking more like Garrett Cole, the Spider Tack version. But I just have a lot of respect for the Red Sox offense, so I don't know. I'm always skittish to tout Yankees to you guys for obvious reasons. But I think Aaron Nola might be pound for pound my favorite pitcher on this slate. Spring training for Garrett Cole. Stacking Texas on the main slate later. Toronto sucks on opening day. Stop. What? 1-9 in their last 10 openers at Rogers Center and outscored big time. Bro, that is the ultimate gambling stat. Relax. What do we got? 5 innings in spring, 10 strikeouts. That's what you want. So strikeout stuff is there. So I kind of like the thought of Cole just being high spin rate, RPM Cole. But the Red Sox are good. But I definitely am ranking Aaron Nola 1. Giolito and Woodruff would probably be second and third if we felt better about the weather. Woodruff would definitely be second if we guaranteed that game played, but Roth at least raised the caution rate high enough that I probably wouldn't lean on him this heavy this far out. But I would say if you did want to take some shots at Woodruff and that game gets joinked from you, you can just get that much more Nola, and then you can go get some more McClanahan. There's a lot of great pitching options on this slate. Dalbec double dong. Oh, okay, Kenny. Can I get a mod to bet? No, I'm just kidding. I'm loving the Phillies for stacks today. Yeah, Dave, I like the Phillies stack quite a bit. The Phillies are probably my favorite stack. Phillies, just removing weather and bias, Phillies look really, really solid as a team overall. And Frankie Montas is a good pitcher, but he's going to challenge him. He challenged Schwarber and Bryce Harper. Bad things happen to good people, right? Also do like the Ray stack. Means deals later in season typically, but he could though, maybe. I do like the Rays. Go on, you have a good seats for opening day. The field looks good behind you. You like that? Yeah, I'm waiting for them to open the doors. Stack Toronto like everyone else and lose. I mean, I haven't really digested the main slate yet, Sean, but being on or off a team because they're 1-9 on their last 10 opening days is, I don't want to be mean, it's dumb. It's pretty dumb. No offense. It's just not a tangible stat that has any predictive value, it's not even close to being irrelevant, what they've done. Yeah, it's dumb. I'm sorry. Need some cheap bats for DK. Let's go hitters. All right, let's refresh DK. We'll look at hitters, and then we'll look at what? Below 3K? Might be a dumb question. If I join Run DFS for a 1 or 2 week package, I just PayPal you the exact amount. No, EDC. You can go to rundfs.com, click VIP memberships, and you just click on whatever you want. And when you click on it, it'll bring you to a checkout page. It'll do all that. And that way, if you do have Fantasy Cruncher, there's a whole like link process to link your Run DFS account with Fantasy Cruncher. What was I doing? We're looking at value bets. Do you think McClanahan hits that 5.5 strikeout versus the Orioles? What are you guys thinking on pitch count? Like, I'll just do 80 for everyone's projection right now. The Rays are definitely tricky when it comes to projecting innings for pitchers as well. But looking at the K factory for him against this lineup, if I gave him 80 pitches, I get 6.7 strikeouts. If I get to 90, I get 7.5. So 5.5. It projects over the 5.5, and he did have a 14.8% swinging strike rate. And looking at the K factory for McClanahan, in terms of opposing hitters, strikeout rates, 20, 25, 20. The bottom of this order looks really, really strikeout prone. So I could get behind that. Real T-Pain, appreciate that sub. Shorty Snap. Are there any concerns of delay or postponing the Detroit Sox game? Yeah, so Butthole and anybody else who just like joined us, looking at Kevin Roth's report, did I close it on accident? It seemed like a couple of these delays would be team discretion and be more so a decision that caters to convenience for the fans. But he wrote Chicago, Detroit, yellow, orange. By the way, this is rotogrinders.com/weather/MLB, or follow Kevin Roth on Twitter. So the Detroit game looks like Kansas did yesterday. Cold and wet with scattered showers. They can play. The rain likely never gets heavy enough to stop them, but the temps in the 40s and the rain is no fun for fans and players alike. So it would be like a convenience decision. Like, do we want everyone out here on opening day in this terrible weather? It's up to them. And then Milwaukee, Chicago, a little bit stronger PPD risk. It says lake effect rain and snow, temps in the 30s, miserable stuff. Wouldn't be fully surprised if they postpone this early. And if they show signs of wanting to play, I'll lower the risk. So, again, do you want your fans sitting around in snow, your players in snow? We do see teams a little bit more liable to postpone early in the season, but this season is a little bit different. But usually in the opening series, they create a free day in case you do need to postpone stuff. So, yeah, we do have a couple games to watch out for, but it looks like those aren't necessarily can they play decisions. It's do they want to play decisions. Baltimore's projected to be bad again, so if they're up like 4-1, the fifth, he's like 71. Okay, so he's at 70, 80 pitches. Okay, so if we do 70 pitches on the K Factory for McClanahan, we get 5.8. If we get to 80, we get 6.69. So, yeah, I guess it would be a is he Thuman or not decision. Do you think you should stack or not on first day of MLB? Ryan, I think that type of approach is there's a couple check boxes for that. One is just like your process or not. There's people, if you play single entry or minimal entries, I'd probably be a little bit more balanced in who I'm rostering. But opening day tends to be, or the opening series in the beginning of the season tend to be a little lower scoring based on the talent, based on the weather, stuff like that. I personally do stack, but mind you, I'm playing 50 to 100, 150 lineups, and I'm just selling out for ceiling. When you're stacking, you're giving up your floor for ceiling. You're hoping that your team goes off because baseball is such a positively correlated between hitters sport. 2-run shots, you're getting ribeye points, you're getting run points, yada, yada, yada. Hitting's contagious, all that good stuff. So I do stack no matter what the slate is typically. But I would say that you're gonna find your own groove. You're gonna find what you like. If you ran 10 or less lineups, you could probably just find 2 or 3 guys you like from each team and intertwine them. But me, I tend to just find teams I like and 5-man stack them on DK, and then I'll mix and match stacks on Fanduel. But I almost always stack in tournaments with a decent chunk of lineups. St. Louis 5-man stack won yesterday. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you're almost. I don't want to make up an obscure percentage, but I would say if I had to, I would say 90+% of the time you look at the number one lineup, it is going to be a full-on stack. So every now and then it's not, but most of the time you should. So it depends on what your risk tolerance is. Stacking Phillies is negative EV. Can't stack at 50% Harper and 50% Kyle Schwarber. I mean that's not an untrue statement. I don't know that it's negative EV, but you can get a lot of positive leverage by going the other way if those two bust. We saw Manny Machado, similar situation yesterday. Those high-owned guys. Machado did have a fly ball to left, died out a little shy of the warning track, and then a couple weird plays. But I get what you're saying. And I was talking about this yesterday. I don't necessarily sweat individual player ownership. Personally, I'm more so going after stacks and just, how owned is this stack? How owned is this stack? But I agree. If I was making a single entry lineup or something like that, fading 50% owned guys is probably the right move long term. So I don't disagree with that statement. But I do kind of expect those two to be some of my higher owned players today. But I don't know how owned they are. I haven't gotten a gauge on ownerships. Anyway, hey, I got to make some lineups. Chat, if you guys want to hang out throughout the day, you want access to the RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet, go to RunDFS.com, click VIP memberships, find something that's right for you. When you do, then click VIP portal, and you'll get into a couple of links. There's the NBA spreadsheet, the baseball spreadsheet, but most importantly, get into the RunDFS.com VIP Discord, this is not it. It's this one. And then you'll see cats talking all day about baseball thoughts, NBA thoughts, and then usually I'm in the voice chat before lock. This slate's a little bit different, and we're going to be a little bit wonky to start, but later today I will be in the NBA VIP voice chat for the 2 hours before the main slate locks. We'll be talking NBA and baseball, so a lot of community chatter. If you want to get into the free Discord, the link to that's in the description below, and you guys have been crushing it. And those of you that are members of the channel, the paid membership, be sure to link your Discord with your YouTube account, and we'll do, every now and then we drop special nuggets. Like yesterday, I think we posted the prop detector in here, and I'll probably put the bomb detector a couple times a week, stuff like that. Small thank yous. So do that. VMAC with the sub. I appreciate that, VMAC. Welcome to the channel. As far as content today, guys, I'm torn on what to do. The options are do a main slate MLB breakdown stream like this one at like 12:30 or 1 my time. Then try to force in an NBA DFS stream and an NBA PrizePicks stream. Or not do an MLB stream for the main slate and try and enjoy the Yankee game for opening day a little bit longer. And I've been working my butt off lately, and I sure love my Yankees. So I certainly am kind of thinking about skipping an MLB main slate stream today. But I will for sure have MLB full slate coverage in the RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet. We actually have that afternoon. All the games are in the spreadsheet. So we'll have full coverage for it, and I will have my player pool, all that stuff. But those of you that follow me just know I've been nonstop all week with content. So I do kind of want to sit around for 2 hours and watch some Yankee baseball. So you guys think that's cool if I did that? And then we would come back probably around 3 Eastern, 2 Eastern for some NBA streams with Josh. And then tomorrow morning, catch me in the morning, Osmo live before lock for baseball. I think it's live before lock. with EMAC. Same thing on Sunday with Eric. So we won't have morning content here for baseball. And I think that's live before lock. Don't quote me on that. Saturday's all day tomorrow, right? Wait, baseball schedule. We might not have an NBA stream tomorrow. 2, 4, 6. Yeah, okay. So it's live before lock tomorrow with EMAC. So hang out with me in the morning on the Awesemo channel. Glenn, you think our Yanks getting the win today? Sorry for not asking DFS question. Just want us to be undefeated for a day. I think so. I think we'll get it. I like this Yankees team, man. I know a lot of Yankees fans are gloom and doom. This looks like a good team. Right? This isn't Andrew Velasquez. This isn't Brett Gardner. Didn't we have Jay Bruce in the opening day lineup last year? Like, Yankee fans need to relax. I like this. I like this squad. What up, Melvin? Hope Cole looks like he did when he had the sticky stuff. I agree. I also want that. All right. Chat, you guys. All right, that'll be it. I'm going to go make some lineups. I guess I can hang out in the Discord, build my cruncher lineups, and hopefully watch a little bit of baseball here. If you guys are on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundacker Sports. That's how you guys can keep in touch with me. And otherwise, man, I appreciate you starting your morning with me. Random morning stream. It's been a blast. So, good luck today. Hope you guys crushed it. We'll be back live on this channel later today. A little basketball talk. Thinking about skipping the baseball talk, man. I hope you guys win all the money. Go Yankees. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.